Last time I played Father Christmas, I stood outside a department store. A gang of kids came over and mugged me and knocked my reindeer to the floor. He said, Father Christmas, give us some money. Don't mess around with those silly toys. We'll beat you up if you don't hand it over. We want your bread, so don't make us annoy. Give all the toys to the little rich boy. Don't give my brother a Steve Austin outfit. Don't give my sister a cuddly toy. We don't want a jigsaw or Monopoly money. We only want the real McCoy.
Hello everyone, how are you doing? This is Rodger, Groovis Games Unlimited, and it is really nice that you're here, and I have to apologize right off the bat. I wanted this video out on Christmas Eve for you, and there was just technical difficulties. I'm using a new camera here, and I really had to get acclimated to it, and I actually shot the video, and then I just wasn't happy with the results. So I reshot it, and I hope everything's going to go great. Above all, it's really nice that you guys are here. I hope you had a nice Christmas, you know, with your family and friends. You got maybe some cool board games, and it's just really nice for you to be here with me, and we're going to go over this whole Dungeon Crusade Christmas Extravaganza video program, and I hope you like that intro. We're looking, of course, at the map of Avalon here. I thought I'd put that up to show you, and right now, just so you know, I'm in the great room of our home, so welcome to our home. And so I want you to know life happens around us. So, you know, I have 3 crazy dogs that I love. So they may, you know, we may hear them with their squeak toys or whatever. So I hope you don't mind. But that's how we roll here. So today, we're going to be talking about a lot of reveals, some presents I've been dying to open for you. I think you're going to love what's in there. I'm going to try to do a slow pan here. Some reveal of the final monster cards. Minion, Champion, and Guardian. We have the Dungeon. This is the Tomb of Calidar, which I've been dying to talk to you guys about because this is one of my favorite dungeon boards, and I put a lot of creativity and imagination into this board for you. And I think you're going to love what you're going to see. And then there's some hero cards. We're going to reveal some of the loot in the game. And this is the revised, I'm going to set this down to be stationary. This is the revised Dungeon UI board. So we're just going to go over that a little bit. We actually added the final warfare chart when you're doing combat. This now reflects the tokens that you see here. Size very cool. Annika, thank you. We worked on this Dungeon UI board together. And so that's a Dungeon UI board, and then there is the village board with some loot we're going to reveal I think you're going to like. And so really, and real quickly, this is the recommended setup. You know, I built this game from the ground up for the soloist gamer at heart, but of course you can play this co-op. But I would recommend having your village board there, having your Dungeon UI board there, having your hero cards and all your loot and, you know, armor, trinkets down here. Of course, your board right there. And then your monster area right here to draw from. And then as they come out, you would line them up, you know, as they appear. So, again, welcome. And it's great to have you here. And here is, I made these up real quick, but these are the 4 dungeon boards. And I wanted to explain. So we're going to see this later. We're going to do a set change. And we're going to bring out the Ancient Runes board. So that's one. You get this with the base edition of Dungeon Crusade. There's Castle Blackwood. This is part of the double-sided dungeon, because some people were asking what comes with what, so I was letting you just know this. And the Cavern of Lost Souls comes, that's the reverse side of Castle Blackwood. And then all the quest tokens and scenario cards, or quest tokens and quest cards will be with this package. And then finally, the Tomb of Calidar, which we're seeing now, comes with the base edition of Dungeon Crusade. And of course, all of them. So that was that. And let's see what we're going to do now. Dungeon UI board. So I want to go over a few tokens with you. Annika, thank you. Here is the damage tokens, and you use these to put on monsters as you're doing damage to them. I don't want to get too close because that's something I learned about this camera. If I get too close, it gets fuzzy. So hopefully that's at perfect range there. Okay, so then we have, there's the Life Force tokens, and Life Force tokens are like XP in Dungeon Crusade, but you can use them for different things. So there's those. Now these are not final, but here is the, there's a gold or currency system in Dungeon Crusade. So there's 100 gold, some stacks of 500 for you, and then finally 1,000. And again, everything you're seeing, I want to make mention, this is all done in-house. So this is not, it's final stuff, but we can't make it exactly perfect like the game company would. But there are your coins and that, and of course cardboard money, sticking with the retro theme. So there are those, and I really like those coins. And Annika, thank you. And I think Freddie did something with the fonts. He did something with the fonts, so thank you, Freddie, for that. And then we're going to touch on this real quick. You're going to be using these tokens for different things in the game. Definitely for the Dungeon UI board. And I think, after really thinking about it, I think we're going to go with just these red wooden ones, instead of having something decorative, because look how nice the art is. So if we put something decorative, like something like this, it kind of like blends in. So, like for the Guardian spawn rate, and for the incantation track, and over here for the minion population. Like when you look at that, your eye's drawn right to the important things. And just the more I think about it, these are probably just going to be just real simple, but they, it's just red, so you see it right away. And of course, up there, like for the terror level of the village, you can see there's a red coin token there. So that is how I think what we're going to do with those. We're going to go over a few of the cards here. I don't know, maybe we'll put the camera like this. How about that? And we're going to chat about, I showed you some of these before, but I'm going to show you again since we're wrapping all this up, because a lot of the cards are done. And again, we're working towards the new playthrough. So right here, here's the Celebration Day cards. David Shear did just about all of the card backings for the game. He just did an awesome, awesome job. So what happens is, the heroes, after they get done with their quests, they go back to the village for Celebration Day. And so the villagers gathered together to give them a gift. There's many different things I created for Celebration Day that the villagers could give you. If you saw this video before, you know a few of these. But they could give you just a big thank you. That's kind of a crappy gift, right? Let's be honest. And that, you just killed all these monsters for them, they give you a big thank you. Or they could give you, I don't think you saw this one before, a loaf of harvest bread. And harvest bread, well, it says the villagers have gathered together to give the heroes a loaf of harvest bread. Give each hero a harvest bread token. When you put this in your backpack, so to speak, and anytime your hero can consume this and regain 2 health and 2 essence anytime. Okay, so there's that. Or they could be very generous and give the heroes 500 gold. Anna Kamar, by the way, I worked with her, gave her my prototype stuff, and she created this. So there you go. So that's a few. There's a lot of stuff here in the Celebration Day cards I have for you. Next up, we'll do the Secret Room deck. Again, David Shearer with that backing. Totally awesome. And so what happens is there's lock picking. Well, first of all, there's secret chambers. In the dungeon, you're going to notice that there's secret chambers, a few of them per game. And so the heroes have to discover these by doing a willpower check. Once they're discovered, you have to pick the lock. And I have a very cool lock picking mechanism for you. So if you pick the lock, you get to see what's inside the secret room. So you could pick the lock, and all you found was a desolate chamber, meaning, of course, nothing. Dean Spencer, awesome. He came up with the art for these. So you could find a desolate chamber, or you could find a treasure room. And inside a treasure room, you could find 1,000 gold. Plus, there's other things that you could find in the secret room. So those cards are also done. And again, David Shearer, thank you. These card backings are just absolutely amazing. And I don't want to put it too close, because I noticed after watching the video, when I was testing this out, it got really fuzzy. So I think that's a good distance. Treasure chest deck. Very cool one. I showed you some of these before. Around the dungeon, you're going to see treasure chest tokens. There's 10 of them per board. And if your hero lands on one, you could pick one of these. But what I did was, I made this really risk and reward. Okay, so you have to really consider, do you really want to open up a chest? There's a lot of good stuff, I assure you. There's powerful artifacts in there, a lot of treasure, some empty chests, but there's a lot of bad stuff that could happen to you too. So I think you're going to really enjoy the treasure chest deck. So if we turn over one, just like I said, you could find gold. Lifting the lid of the archaic chest, you discover 1,400 gold. So you can find that. You could also find an empty chest. You raise the lid of the rickety chest to discover it is devoid of anything of value. Or you could find, this is one I haven't shown you before, you could find a piece of gear. To your surprise, you have found a legendary piece of gear. Flip over cards in the loot deck and take the first legendary piece of gear you find, then reshuffle the loot deck. And there's a few of these different cards in there for rare and epic gear. And then, I'm going to be secret about this one. Some of the bad stuff that could happen is that you could find an Eidolon chest. And just giving a little bit for you there. A chilled mist surrounds the chest as you approach it. The chest begins to metamorphosize into an Eidolon chest. So it's going to be interesting what you have to do with this. But I loved designing these things for you, and I think you're going to have an awesome time discovering what is inside of the treasure chest deck for you. Let's see what else here.